English verbs that finish in ing. How do we translate them in French? Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes French Grammar Fixes. Bonjour et bienvenue à 5 Minutes French Grammar Fixes. Aujourd'hui, on va regarder les verbes qui finissent en ing en anglais. Today, let's have a look at English verbs that finish in ing. Okay, if you're looking at this, you already know about those verbs in English which end in ing because they're expressing the present tense. In French, there is no continuous present tense. Well, not really. Whether you say I play or I am playing, in French you use the present tense and you say je joue. Check my 5 Minutes French Grammar Fixes presentations on the present tense if you need a reminder. However, there might be a slight subtlety expressed in French if something is happening right now, in which case we use this structure, grammatical structure, where we conjugate the verb être, to be, in the present tense, and we follow it with en train de, and then an infinitive verb. Right, let's have a look now at English verbs ending in ing, but with no obvious subject like we had in the example before. So let's look at speaking on the phone while driving is not a good idea. So you've got two verbs ending in ing, speaking and driving. There's no obvious subject for the first verb here, no I, you, he, she. Okay, so I'm going to use the infinitive form of the verb to speak. Okay, the second verb does not have an obvious subject either, but it has the word while just before it, and that's why I'm going to use en and my verb ending in ant. This type of structure is called le gérondif in French. It enables you to express two simultaneous actions, so two things that are happening at the same time for the same person. This is important, and that your verbs refer to the same subject. It can also express a mean, a way, or a condition. So let's have a look at some examples. So your first example is about two things happening at the same time for the same person. So when you say, I like to study while listening to music, you're the one studying and listening to music at the same time. And that's why your second verb, while listening, ing verb, is translated by gérondif, en écoutant de la musique. In your second example, what is expressed here is the way something's happened. Okay, so when you say he lost weight eating less, not only he's the one who lost weight and ate less, but it's by eating less that he lost weight. Okay, and in your last example, again, it's a condition, but it's also a simultaneous thing. When you say you improve by speaking regularly, you're the one improving when you speak, and you're doing those two things at the same time. But it's a condition. It's only by speaking regularly that you are going to improve. So you can see that whilst you sometimes have an English word like while, by, on, followed by ing verb, it's not always the case. So you have to think about the meaning of that ing verb. And when there's no word in English, that might be translated in French by another word. It's just that ing that's triggering the en plus your ant verb in French. Now, let's look more closely at how you change your French verb into the gérondif. Yes, I know, you can always look it up in a dictionary in the verb table under the present participle, but it's always best to be able to work things out for yourself in case you get stuck. If you have an elephant's memory, of course, you could just learn all the French verb tables, which you should at least do for irregular verbs anyway. In any case, this is what you do to the infinitive verb that you find in the dictionary or in your head. You think of the present tense nous form of a verb. So in the case of we play, nous jouons. You remove the nous ending, so the ons, and then you are left with what is called the stem. And that's when you add your ant. And that's how you have en jouant. Right, I know what you're going to say now, but they translate as the same thing. Not quite. And in fact, if you look at these two sentences, where in English, yes, they are translated, they're both translated as coming out, they mean very different things. So in the first one, j'ai vu Cécile sortant du bureau. I saw Cécile coming out of the office. She's the one coming out of the bureau, whereas when you say j'ai vu Cécile en sortant du bureau, the I who saw Cécile is also the I who came out of the office. Okay, so it's the same person doing those two actions, and so it's a case of simultaneity, which is something we've talked about earlier on about the gerundive. Do make sure that you know these irregular present participles at least. Okay, ayant for having, étant for being, and sachant, knowing. Voilà, c'est tout pour le gerundive. That's all for the gerundive, which often translates that ing English verb. Remember, you're using en, and then your French verb ends in ant. And you can practice with conjuguemos.com, for example. Au revoir.